Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. I'd actually like to call to action why the drinking age in the United States should be lowered from 21 to 18. For one, drinking with parents within their homes would be a much safer environment. It would be less of a party scene and more of a social one with dinner, for example. The youth can also start to understand personal limits, be taught responsibility for their actions, not drinking and driving, and those sorts of elements that go along with the responsibility of drinking. Instead of starting to drink while in college, where peer pressure is often a key factor for youth, but also binge drinking and other potentially risky behaviors such as rape or sexual assault and alcohol poisoning can also be a problem. So why is there a problem with the drinking age being at 21? Well, underage drinking still occurs anyway. Oftentimes people start drinking in high school as low as 14, 15, or 16. I'm sure that there's even younger, but I'd like to not even talk about that. Binge drinking also is a problem because that occurs to the point where people go out and party and they have either peer pressure or they feel a little wild side and they start just slamming shots. And of course, that is unhealthy also. Our youth also drinks like it's a forbidden fruit when we could be educating them on how you can just enjoy drinking in small amounts. We also allow our youth to do so many things starting as young as 12, but when we prohibit them from buying a beer when they become a legal adult, it's kind of a little counterproductive. So binge drinking, let's go over that for a second. That's excessive drinking. This is based off of the CDC reports, and that is heavy drinking, any drinking by pregnant women or people younger than the age of 21. Now, binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking. It is also defined as consuming for women, for example, 4 or more drinks during a single occasion. For men, 5 or more drinks during a single occasion as well. Now again, according to the CDC, that is heavy drinking. Now, binge drinking can also be what is considered 8 or more drinks per week, or 15 or more drinks per week. So the risks of binge drinking are pretty obvious. I mean, obviously there's the overconsumption of alcohol at once, but also there's high blood pressure and heart disease, stroke, liver disease, and digestive problems that can occur. Again, this is all based off of the CDC. Cancer of the mouth, breasts, throat, esophagus, liver, and colon is also a problem. Learning memory problems, including dementia and poor school performance, which would also make sense, as I'm sure some people have been drunk before. You can imagine that you don't feel as cognitive when you wake up the next day. Social problems also can occur, including lost productivity, family problems, and unemployment from perhaps not showing up to work the next day from a hangover. Alcohol dependence or alcoholism can also occur. So, rights of our youth today come with obtaining a hunting license at the age of 12, a driver's license at the age of 16, vote and serve in the military at age 18, buying tobacco at age 18, serving in the House of Representatives at age 25, serving in the U.S. Senate at age 30, running for president by age 35, and of course there are other rights that are regulated by the government, and that's sexual intercourse and marriage. All of that I found off of the chooseresponsibility.org. For better or worse, American society has determined that upon turning 18, teenagers become adults. This means that they can enlist, serve, fight, and potentially die for our country. And while the fight for our country argument is a powerful one, it begins to capture the essence of adulthood. Now, most importantly, at age 18, you become legally responsible for your actions. You can buy cigarettes, sell them, even, in time you can get lung cancer from them, and yet we still have the right to make that decision at 18. You may even buy property, strike bidding legal documents and contracts, take on a loan, vote, hold office, or secure, adopt a child, serve on a jury, all at 18. But strangely, you cannot buy a beer. And again, chooseresponsibility.org can also let you all know all this information. I did find a funny quote from Kinky Friedman. I am going to lower the drinking age to 18. If you're old enough to die in Iraq, you're old enough to drink. This is pretty true, I would think, because if I'm going to put my life on the line, I'd like to think that I can have a beer while maybe on my break or after hours, when I'm deployed. If we do nothing, nothing will change. So our youth will be uneducated on the risks of alcohol till it is potentially too late, and they will experience it on their own and potentially put themselves at unneeded risk. So our youth will continue to binge drink and have a risky behavior while there's no adult supervision needed. This could lead to rape, assault, binge drinking, alcohol poisoning, 911 calls that are not made because they are in a situation where they feel like they can't make a phone call because they could get in trouble by the cops when they show up because they are underage drinkers. Drinking and driving can also occur because a lot of the times kids don't think to call their parents when they could because of the fact that their parents might potentially get mad at them for drinking underage. When if we do actually have the drinking age lowered, then perhaps we can actually keep the drinking and driving under wraps because kids will call their parents and their parents will know where they're at and what they're doing. So of course there's a counter argument to everything. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, alcohol also plays a significant role in risky sexual behavior and increases the risk of physical and sexual assault. Among college students under the age 21, 50,000 experience alcohol-related date rape, and 43,000 are injured by another student who has been drinking. Again, makes sense. Drinking can also, with parent supervision, can help be under wraps with this because an adult would be supervising. Underage drinking stems often by the age limit that is set. If it is less than the underage drinking would occur. The adults that would be drinking at 18 would then learn from their mistakes, while, of course, under the parent's roof or supervision, this may not occur. And that is all from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So alcohol consumption and traffic rates, that has always been a concern for the government when it came to changing the age for drinking. So, for example, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimated that through 2002, the increase in the minimum legal drinking age has saved 22,000 lives in all 50 states. Now, my argument for that is the increase in the minimum legal drinking age has saved 23,733 lives in the United States. However, this has remarkably, this estimate is total lives saved, not just lives saved under 21. So it's kind of a interesting statistic. And that I all found from chooseresponsibility.org. Also, fatalities due to the car accidents rise due to lower drinking age. My counter-argument for that, of course, is before and after measures of these age changes show an increase between alcohol-related traffic fatalities among 18 to 21-year-olds. However, the research suggests that alongside these increases in alcohol-related traffic fatalities among 18 to 20-year-olds, there were also likely a decrease in alcohol-related traffic fatalities among those between 21 and 24. So it may have fluctuated, but it didn't necessarily change. Now, my plan and why it can work. Education in schools, just like sex ed, only the alcohol version. Our youth can drink with their parents and learn in a safe environment. They can feel safe and free from punishment if the need is there for help. For example, calling 911, like I mentioned before, or calling their parents for the DD, or already pre-arranging a DD. When they go to college, they won't feel the urge as much to binge drink or hide from the cops or throw parties and have that forbidden fruit. It will be looked at as more of a, again, social gathering, maybe sipping of alcohol versus the binge drinking and let's just get wasted. So what can we expect? Healthy adolescent development, so people that are more educated, hopefully, involve schools, parents, communities, all levels of the government, and youth themselves can help prevent and reduce the underage drinking. So also by lowering the drinking age, perhaps we'll see less of the 14, 15-year-olds drinking because they'll already know that they'll become closer to age when they're 18 and an actual adult, and it's more of a respected age. And they can truly feel like an adult when they turn 18. We can also promote the understanding of underage drinking consumption and the health risks that are involved. So the benefits and consequences can weigh a lot. We can help educate our youth, how we feel as parents, teaching our children, having them under our own roof. And there's also always potential for drinking and driving So making sure to educate our children on a DP. So what am I calling into action? Based off of Ruth C. Engs, the professor of applied health sciences, based upon the fact that our current prohibition laws are not working, the need for alternate approaches from the experience of others, our more ancient cultures who do not have these problems need to be tried. Groups such as Italians, Greeks, Chinese, and Jews who have few drinking pressures and related problems tend to share some common characteristics. Also, neither seem to have a poison or a magic potent to them, and there is little or no social pressure to drink. Irresponsibility behavior is never tolerated, and young people learn at home from their parents versus from other adults how to handle alcohol in a responsible manner. There is a societal consensus on what constitutes responsible drinking, and learning from your parents might be the better option versus going and drinking with college students. The minimum drinking age of 21 in the U.S. appears to not be only not effective, but counterproductive. Although it was passed with the best of intentions, it has had some of the worst outcomes, as I have shown you with some statistics. Underage drinking is the leading cause to binge drinking, sexual assault, and a lack of education or respect for alcohol. By educating our youth on alcohol and lowering the drinking age, we are able to give our youth more knowledge and power for themselves. We are able to give them alcohol in more controlled environments where alcohol can be used for, again, dinner time and something less of a party manner. Another great quote, but I do not know who the author was, is, "If you can die in a battle, you should be able to drink a beer." And I feel like that is a very strong point. So that concludes my call to action. However, I would like to ask my audience if they have any questions for me.
I do have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned schools. Can schools educate our youth about drinking responsibly, and if so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So your question was, can our schools educate our youth, and if so, how? A good example of doing that would be kind of like I said with the sex ed, except it could be kind of like a driver's education version where they actually have to take a course and complete it, and maybe they get a certification or some sort that gives them, in a way, a license to drink. Of course, that's one scenario. Also, just teaching our children or our youth what the bad effects of alcohol are might help prevent the kids who are about to turn 18, could help us prevent our 15, 16, 17-year-olds from drinking and help them not maybe purchase alcohol for the even younger youth. Well, I hope I have all convinced you all that underage drinking is not good, but also that we should lower our drinking age from 21 to 18. And I have here a petition that I had printed out. I would like you guys to sign it if you feel that I have convinced you of the sort. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this around for my audience.